He drives car number 22, and he's just 18 years old. But that hasn't kept this young driver from racking up a record 9 pole positions and 6 series victories, including an incredible 4 in a row. Now the only number left is 1. Connor Daly, the young American, looking to seal a championship season in Canada. The Star Mazda Championship for the Visit Florida Cup is next. Welcome to Mosport International Raceway. We're in Bowmanville, Ontario, Canada, just north of Toronto. Coverage of the 2010 Visit Florida Cup. It's part of the Star Mazda Championship. Hello again, everyone. I'm Rick Benjamin. Johnny O'Connell alongside Todd Lewis on pit road today. Incredible racing facility here. Johnny, you learn a lot about yourself as a racer at Mosport.
You really do. I mean, this is the 50th year of Mosport, and really very few changes have been made to the circuit over the years, and so many fast corners where if a driver makes a mistake, unlike a lot of racetracks now, you're going to pay the price. You're going to hurt the car. You might hurt yourself. So it takes a lot of commitment as a driver to get around here, but everybody loves it because it's fast, it's flowing, it has great rhythm, great elevation. I don't know one driver that doesn't like coming to Canada for Mosport.
Should have the 2010 championship wrapped up here this weekend. Young Connor Daly on pole for the 9th time. He's on the verge of clinching this title.
He's had an amazing series, and you know, when you look at the way he has progressed, his team has progressed, I think when we watch Connor, we're seeing a guy like we've seen in Andretti, Ray Hall, Scott Speed, Mike McDowell, one of these guys that we know in the future we're going to be seeing lots of.
All right, the Visit Florida Cup Championship still in play. It will not be clinched here today, although Connor Daly leads that battle as well. That won't be settled until we get to Petit Le Mans weekend at Road Atlanta a couple of weeks from now. Let's check in with our pole award winner. He's with Todd.
Connor Daly, a familiar spot up front here of the field, but 45 minutes of racing from now, you could be holding up a championship trophy. Are you feeling that yet?
Yeah, a little bit. It's always in the back of your head. You just got to be conservative. You know, we're starting on pole, so that's obviously the best place to be. And, you know, I'm just going to go out there like every other race and try and win it. But we also got to be conservative. So we'll see what happens. I mean, this is a tough track, but I really enjoy it. So, you know, Yuenko's car is fantastic today, so we'll see what happens.
Connor Daly acquired confidence as he gets set to lead them off from pole position.
And there's his dad. Derek Daly, of course, has played a big role in getting his son Connor to this point in his career. Looks pretty relaxed, Johnny.
Yeah, he does. You know, I think he's got a ton of confidence in his son. They've had an amazing season. And the way they're approaching this as just another race to try to win, I think is the right attitude.
Tell us about this racetrack. This was an intimidating place the first time I got a ride around here.
Yeah, it is an amazing racetrack. Very, very fast. Turn 1, 5th gear corner. Same with 2, and very daunting elevation change there. Everything here is fast. You have good overtaking areas going into 5. Your best place is down the long straightaway into turn 8. The cars will draft there. You will see some passing.
About 2.4 miles around this layout. Let's have a look at our starting lineup. 19 cars will answer the call today in the Star Mazda Championship, part of the Visit Florida Cup. Connor Daly on pole. We met him earlier in the Indec College Network 22. And Calvis lines up alongside. Tristan Vaudier and Mikel Grenier, a couple of drivers who've had their moments this season, will make up row number 2. Third row, Anders Krohn in the Anderson Racing 47. That's the Norse cutting and abandonment car. He's the only other driver with a shot at the title. He'll line up alongside Connor DeFilippi. Rusty Mitchell and Kyle Lara will make up row number 4 here today. Back to the 5th row, David Ostella returns to the series in the 16 car, and American Chris Miller in the 85 will line up in 10th position. Nick Andres and Joao Orto will be in the 6th row this afternoon here at Mosport, and the 7th row of our 19-car field looks like this. Carlos Linares and Bob Kaminsky, one of our senior-level competitors. He'll start in 14th spot in that 28 car. Back to the next row. Tatiana Calderon has struggled here this weekend. Mikhail Goikeberg making his first start. He's from St. Petersburg, Russia, up from the F2000 ranks. Jerry Kraut and Zach Meyer back in row number 9. And all alone in the 10th row, Carlos Condi in the 31. He will start shotgun on the field. Now, there is one change from the way they qualified to the way they'll take the green. Texan Rusty Mitchell here in the Motorola car, the 66. He's got to drop to the back of the pack, Johnny. They had to make a tire change here.
Yeah, you know what? Rusty has totally been the hard luck guy this season. You know, they changed to Anderson Racing, really trying to up the program, give him better opportunities to show well, and he has. But, man, that guy has been the result of the recipient of a lot of bad luck.
Field coming to a stop on the front straightaway here at Mosport, getting set for the standing start. There's Connor Daly, our pole sitter, likely to become the series champion today. There's one other driver in the field with a chance at unseating him. That would be Anders Krohn in the 47. Krohn, of course, starting in the 5th position today. Before we go green, we had a chance earlier to talk to Anders about today's event, about the season, and what he's going to try to accomplish here and maybe steal this championship.
It's going to be all-out racing, just like usual. You know, we've been fighting a long time for this first win of the year, and that's going to be the same approach. So that's all we're going for, all out, see what happens.
That's all you can do.
Yeah, you know what, and he's been a model of consistency, and maybe, you know, what he's done this year is really build himself the platform to win a championship next year.
Star Mazda, of course, off the standing start. Drivers have seen the 15-second board. Of course, there is a light system to drivers' right. Once the lights change from red to green, we'll go racing. Johnny, this is the moment everybody waits for.
This is, you know, in Star Mazda, this is one of the most exciting moments. There you see the lights coming up. The whole board's going to fill up red. I tell you what, everyone's got an amazing view of this. There you go. The revs come up. Connor trying to get to that inside corner first.
Goncalves in
very
the 9.
aggressive.
Goncalves dove to the bottom to try to close the door and got the job done. They're single file out of turn 1. We'll see if anybody gets aggressive here. Side by side for 3rd coming over the hill. Looks like David Ostella and that 16 car starting to get a little bit racy back there as well. Ostella swings it to the inside as they come to the next corner.
Yeah, Ostella in the red and white car. Really good start. Pushing it on the outside. Tough move to make.
David Ostella started in the 5th row. He's passed a couple of cars already. Pretty good aggression there, Todd Lewis.
Fellas, a little more on David Ostella, who's been able to pick up a few positions here early going this afternoon at Mosport. Likes this track very much, has run a lot of laps here. His coach Lee Bentham is here this weekend, helping him improve his times around the track. He and everyone else said the key to success here, the car staying on the track. You need high speed, but you also need high downforce. It takes, as everyone has described, a ballsy driver to get through those high-speed corners and have the confidence that the car is going to come out the other end.
Ostella still on the button trying to make a move. Let's get on board the 19 car. This is Kyle Lara heading to the final couple of corners here at Mosport.
Yeah, this is 9 coming through 10. You'll see little concrete patches right there. The car gets a little bit loose, a little bit slippery on those. You know, these opening laps are always so critical. The cars have low tire temperature and pressure. You know, the guys that win championships, win races, are really good at pushing hard early.
Your VisitFlorida.com running order, top of your screen. Keep track of where your favorite driver is with 1 lap on the board. Of course, this is a 45-minute timed event. Connor Daly, some heat being applied there by Goncalves in the 9 car.
Yeah, you know, Goncalves has really impressed me this weekend. The guy's been smooth and fast. He's really stepped up his game, you know, and what he needs to do is get close enough to Connor Daly to draft on by.
3rd spot belongs to the 38 of Tristan Vautier, but the top 2 starting to open up some distance on the rest of the field in the early laps at Mosport. Our coverage of the Visit Florida Cup from Mosport International Raceway for the Star Mazda Championship being brought to you by Mazda. On any given weekend, more Mazdas are road raced than any other brand. And by Visit Florida and VisitFlorida.com. Your Florida side is calling. Discover a whole new side of you and the Sunshine State. Go to VisitFlorida.com. Start planning your vacation today. Welcome back to Mosport International Raceway, part of the Grand Prix of Mosport weekend. Alongside Johnny O'Connell, I'm Rick Benjamin. Todd Lewis has our coverage on pit road. The Star Mazda Championship. Rusty Mitchell has picked up a couple of positions. Tough break for the driver out of Texas, Johnny. We started to talk about him. The tire change making him start from the back today.
Yeah, you know, and that is so hard to do, but it's also an opportunity. You know, when you go to the back, you have to work your way to the front. That's an opportunity for you to really show how you can race. And even if you don't win, you usually feel good if you made a lot of good passes.
Working on the 20 car there, Carlos Sonare's machine. We got on board with Mitchell up the backstretch under the Mobile One Bridge. To me, this is always the most entertaining part of this racetrack. You carry a lot of speed up here.
You are flying up the hill, and right now he's trying to get it close enough to get a tow so he can slingshot into turn 8. We'll see where he lifts. Does he downshift? Just a little bit of a breathe going to 8. Now your fast guys, they're probably entering 8 with just a lift, if not flat.
So Mitchell unable to get by Linares, at least to this point. Last couple of corners here, they call it 10 turns. Back to turn 1 meantime, side by side for 9th and 10th, Kyle Lara and Nick Andres, and Andres drives around him.
Yeah, you know, it looked like Lara was trying to make a move up the inside, wasn't able to make it stick. Actually got up on the curves. A lot of times they can really unbalance the car, but these guys are having a good race here.
3 laps are on the board of our timed event today. Chris Miller, who started 10th, has moved up to 8th, so he's been one of the early gainers here in this event. And Johnny, how hard is it to pass in one of these Star Mazda cars on a high-speed racetrack like this?
If you've got a good car, you know, it's usually pretty easy, you know, but the problem is right, you know, as was mentioned, a lot of these guys are running high downforce setups, okay? So what makes that difficult to do is in these higher speed corners getting close to the guy. You've got to wait for the guy in front of you to make a mistake, to miss an apex. Once he's done that, okay, then you're open for business.
Up the long backstretch here at Mosport, under the bridge. Watching that battle for 8th, 9th, and 10th. A little further back there, you see the 25 car, Tatiana Calderon. As good as she was at Autobahn, Johnny, weeks ago, she has just had really problems coming to grips with this racetrack. Here's Mitchell on the inside, finally getting by Carlos Linares.
Yeah, it took him a lap to set that one up. Remember last time he tried to give it a go, but he wasn't close enough coming out of turn 5. This time he made it happen. But yeah, Tatiana, getting back to her, was so impressive at Autobahn. And you know, again, she probably hasn't seen this circuit before, but also, you know, like so many guys, myself included, have mentioned, this place is daunting. Where they're driving right now, going into turn 2, you're just like falling off into a black hole, and it's everything you can do to whoa, there we go.
David
really nice move by Estella.
Yeah, to the inside, getting by Mikhail Grenier, going into one of the right-handers here at Mosport. I'll tell you, Estella really aggressive.
You know, doing a really good job. He started 9th, currently running 6th. His car's obviously working well for him. The guy's feeling racy.
Mikhail Grenier in the 17 car, also from Canada. He's got to be a little frustrated. Grenier's had a good season, but Estella just driving away from him.
What makes it even worse is there's something about Canadians racing in Canada, man. They step up their game, they find a 6th gear or whatever, but they are so competitive with each other that each of these guys, I'm sure, is aware exactly where the other guy's house is.
David Estella and the red and white machine gaining ground. Here comes Grenier, though, back at him as they go up over the hill. Grenier deciding to go to the bottom, and he gets the spot back.
Nicely done. Again, that's just, you know, one of those situations where you stay close to the guy, you pick up their toe. Grenier pulled that off magically. Now what, you know, Estella needs to do is stay close and return the favor.
Estella, a driver getting some help here this weekend. A noted driver from the past is coaching David Estella now. Driver coach is one of those new trends in the sport over the last several years, and for a young driver especially, it can make all the difference in the world. Before we went green today, Todd Lewis caught up with David Estella and the veteran driver who's now coaching him.
One of the ways that Star Mazda teams are helping develop their drivers is hiring driver coaches. Successful racers like Lee Bentham are now having successful careers as driver coaches, working with AIM Autosport, David Estella this weekend here at Mosport. Is there something that you target each week, or do you look at the overall track, or what's your approach?
I mean, it's really an individualistic thing with every driver. You know, you have to take a look at, you know, what they're good at, what they're not good at. Some are very visual these days. Actually, a lot of the generations coming up now are very visual because of like the influence of the internet, the iPhones. You know, they've constantly got a game or something right in front of their face. So what we try and teach them is more feel, how to feel the car, how to listen to the car, you know, find the grip that way as opposed to just visually. And every driver really is different. You know, they all have something that they're good at, something that they need to work on. So, you know, as we all know, everybody's wired differently, so you got to figure out that wiring and then rewire it so it's better.
It's like the first half you're diving it, then you just kind of let it. It really helps with my driving, my line, even the speed through the corners. And he's a really good coach. He's driven a car. He knows how it is. He's tested the Mazda car. He's driven Atlantic. So he really knows how the cars handle and all that. So he really helps with the setup, my driving, really all around good coach.
You know, Rick, almost all these drivers, Connor Daly included, have guys helping him, coaching them. Not just, you know, Connor's dad, but he has a coach, and it's a huge plus.
Kind of like in golf when you see pros with a swing coach. Same sort of idea. All right, Connor Daly leads Goncalves and Vautier. Back with more at Mosport of the Visit Florida Cup.
The Star Mazda Championship offers a variety of racetracks for teams and drivers to get used to and make adjustments for. Remy Lating is the technical director for Anderson Racing. Remy, you're going to show us some of the changes you make for a track like Trois-Rivières to a track here where we are today at Mosport.
Exactly. Okay, well, Mosport is typically a high-speed track, very smooth, so the difference is obviously with the street circuit are visually visible. So we'll come carry around to the front wing first. Tualia, we had a device here that we carried in Autobahn and also in Tualia, which gives a downforce at lower speeds. So at this kind of track, which is a higher speed, we take these off. So we just basically have a plain flap, and we still have the same adjustment we had basically all year for every type of track to do changes in the pit lane. If we carry on, the differences again here, same basically build. Only thing is the adjustment will be very different internally in the dampers, where we're going to be running on a smoother track. The damping requirement is different. Spring rate also obviously is a bit different. Smoother track, we can run the cars a lot lower, we can run them a lot harder. Sway bar adjustments also are another adjustment that we use a lot to tune the car, and they're also in a range that is on a stiffer range, just to be so because we're on a track that's a lot smoother, and we don't need as much, if we need more support also in corners, so that's a device that will change a lot. Rear wing here too, same thing. We had in 12, we had a device here in the back to create more downforce at lower speeds. Here we're going faster, we remove it, and we basically just adjust the top wing.
Big change for the team, big change for the driver. If the driver's comfortable, he's faster through all of these high-speed corners, in particular at Mosport.
Back to the action here at Mosport International Raceway. And Johnny, taking those little winglets off, those little wickers off, I would think that would take drag out of the car.
Yeah, you know, again, Mosport's a difficult track because it's very fast, okay? So you want a lot of downforce to go through these corners quickly and safely. And but you also need to get around down the straightaways well. And so you know what, to do that, you take off the wickers, sometimes you lay the wing back, but there's so many different variances that teams can go with. Right there. Oh, not close enough.
Connor DeFilippi in the 11 trying to get to the inside and get by Crone as they race in the top 5. Good battle here through 9 and 10 up onto the front stretch.
Yeah, that takes so much trust in your competitor when you're doing that with open wheel cars.
Vautier is third. This is for 4th and 5th. I'm impressed with Connor DeFilippi. This is one of the best outings we've seen from him this season.
Both these guys doing a really good job being respectful of each other, knowing that, you know what, you might get past, but then you'll get an opportunity to get back by your competitor.
Working lap number 8, scoring strip top of your screen, the visitflorida.com scoring. Keep track of where your favorite driver's running here at Mosport International Raceway. And what about Connor Daly in his bid to lock down the Star Mazda Championship and the Visit Florida Cup? Dad Derek looking on from pit road, watching the monitors. Meantime, the Masters competitors, Carlos Condi there in the 31, by taking the green today. He has wrapped up the 2010 Masters Championship in the Star Mazda Series. Competition for drivers a little older than some of our stars of this series, drivers in their 30s and 40s, and Jerry Kraut there as well in the 55. For 10th spot, meantime, Joao Orto and Nick Andres. This has been going on since the start of the race as well, Johnny.
You know, and this often happens in Mosport, where you get hooked up with a guy, you two guys working together and against each other, trying to move up, you know, in the field. But a lot of times you start racing with a guy and you wind up slowing each other down, especially here at Mosport, where you find yourself going through high-speed corners side by side. You lose a lot of time doing that.
Down the hill, one of the left-hand corners. Is that a corner you take flat out in one of these cars?
You know, these guys, you know what, in qualifying, low fuel, you know, sticker tires, yeah, the fast guys are probably doing it flat, you know, maybe a little bit of left foot braking. But as you get into the race, you know, heavier fuel load and all that kind of stuff, your fast guys are probably just breathing and then sit in the rear of the car as they come over the rise with the throttle.
Battling for position here, the 18 car. The car of Joao Orto. Nick Andres right behind him in the 81, battling around 9th, 10th, and 11th position here.
You know, and the really difficult thing there is right now, you know, is getting close enough in that last corner to where you can get the big toe to draft on by. Timing is everything, and what the leading car does is what's happening right there. You defend the inside.
Orto in the 18 trying to move around the 81 of Andres.
And did a nice job doing it.
Heading to the final couple of corners here at Mosport. Love this racetrack, and what a picture-perfect weekend to go racing here. Just a hint of fall maybe in the air. Not much. A lot of our Canadian fans and friends in attendance this weekend at Mosport International, making their plans to take a winter trip to Florida. If you'd like to do the same thing, go to visitflorida.com. Get all the information on your next Florida vacation.
Tristan, you're live in the Visit Florida Cup Championship race. How do you approach today's race? Any differently?
No, as any race, I'm gonna push like hell to go back to the front. I'm third on the grid, so I definitely want this trip to Florida. So I'll do my best, and we'll see the results.
All right, Tristan Vautier third in the Visit Florida Cup standings. Next to last race of this 7-race championship. This event at Mosport, then at Petit Le Mans weekend at Road Atlanta coming up on the 1st of October to kind of settle it. But Connor Daly in command right now. Let's get on board with Vautier in that 38 car. He's had a good day so far, Johnny O'Connell, running in third spot.
Yeah, you know what? And this is a kid that's really impressed me. He had a win pretty much taken away from him at Laguna Seca where he had a mechanical issue. But you know what? I always held the philosophy that if you can't win, be spectacular. And Tristan has that. There's just something very cool and aggressive about his style of driving that I've enjoyed watching all season long. And you know what? The Visit Florida Cup thing, not decided yet. Even, if Connor were to win here, that gives him a championship. But I don't know whether it locks in that cup, so that thing might go down to Road Atlanta, Petit Le Mans. And, man, that's a cool plus for these guys to try to win.
Of course, earlier this season, the series visiting Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, one of the home tracks for Star Mazda. Good battle here, Pedro Hita and Orto. Fighting for 10th and 11th. There's Rusty Mitchell back there. Now remember, Rusty had to start that 66 car at the back of the pack after a tire change. He's made some good moves to get up into the top 12 or 13 here.
Yeah, and you know what? Even though he's not right at the very, tip of the spear here in the run, and the guy's feeling good because he's passing cars, he's showing he's racing. And like I said, some of my best races have been where I had to go to the back of the pack and work my way to the front. And it's just one of the things, you get involved in those dog fights that make a race memorable.
Kind of makes you dig a little deeper as a driver, doesn't it?
Well, and it's motivating. If you start 18th, you get up into the top 10, man, you've done a good job. You start 18th, you get into the top 5, you've done an amazing job.
Look at how hard Rusty Mitchell has to work this race car off the final corner here at Mosport.
So fun to go on board, see him going up the gearbox, change up a gear going into turn 1, very fast corner.
About a third of the way home today, the Star Mazda Championship at Mosport International Raceway for the Visit Florida Cup. The VisitFlorida.com running order, top of your screen with 12 laps complete. This is 11th, 12th, and 13th. The 18 car right there in command of this little battle at the moment, Joao Orto, the 28 of Juan Pedro Hita. Then the 66, the Motorola car, Rusty Mitchell.
Mitchell's got an advantage here in that psychologically these guys have been involved in their own battle. They're not expecting Mitchell to get up to him. So when they look in their mirrors and see them, they understand that, wait, this is a cat that started in the back of the field. He's obviously hooked up. I'm going to have a battle on my hands.
Mitchell up the back straightaway here at Mosport. Now, is he close enough to take advantage of the tow here?
He'll be able to get closer, to them because they're both running together. They're making a bigger hole through the air. Whether or not he's going to get close enough to be able to make that move to the inside, I don't think so. But, that committed move into turn 8. Right, what you saw right there is what happens most of the time. Oh, you see him moving to the inside?
Rusty Mitchell trying to get by Pedro Hita here in the final couple of corners of this lap. He can't get the job done.
Yeah, but he got a good exit out of 1, so he might be able to go up the box, make a move to the inside in turn 1 here. Not close enough.
Man, these three are just wailing on each other.
Doing a really, really nice job. In this situation, you always hate being the guy in the middle. Because the guy in the middle, he's trying to get by the guy in front, but also defend his line to the guy behind you. And so it's always, really a challenging situation to find yourself in.
Now, at these speeds, and this is a smaller open-wheel car, but they make a lot of horsepower. They run great lap times around here. Can you check your mirrors? Do you know where the guy is behind you?
Yeah, you're finishing a corner, and seeing what your distance is to the guy. Oh, we got a spin there.
One car around. Nick Andres, one of the Anderson cars, the 81 out of Florida, has gone around. Looks like he might have stalled. It didn't hit anything apparently, but he's right at the exit of that corner there. One more look at it. Take a look. He's up high.
Yeah, he brings it in there just maybe with a little bit too much momentum and apexing a little bit early. And I think, when you do that sometimes and you lift, that causes a problem.
Out of the final corner here, Orto and Pedro Hita. Orto pulls way over to the inside.
Man, that is weird. That is That doesn't make any sense. And you see stuff like that out of Ferrari and Formula One, but I don't, I mean, normally a guy misses a gear, he doesn't pull over like that. That's kind of a weird deal.
Looks like Joao Orto is off the pace. That allows Pedro Hita in the 28 and Rusty Mitchell to move by and take off here at Mosport International Raceway. So, a strange development here. Connor Daly, though, all alone out in front. We'll be back at Mosport. Welcome back to Mosport International Raceway with Johnny O'Connell. I'm Rick Benjamin. Connor Daly waxing the field here, trying to nail down the Star Mazda Championship. Won't be able to clinch the Visit Florida Cup in all likelihood today, or at least it is still in play. Jorge Goncalves in second spot in the 9 car, trying to pick up his first win in his Star Mazda career. Not his first season, but his first season of being able to run at the head of the pack.
Yeah, and you know what? He's really stepped up his game. I'm really impressed with how he's driving today. Really hitting his marks, hitting every apex. Connor Daly, right now, like so many races this season, has just been in another league. They got the car set up right. He knows all the circuits. He's got a lot of momentum. As we look at Vautier running third, again, a cat that has just been really putting on a strong season and a debut season for him that, I think is going to bode him well, should he decide to do another season.
Anders Krohn in the 47, meantime, for Anderson Racing, the Norse cutting and abandonment car. Anders, you've got to feel for him a little bit. Unable to get the victory lane this year. Second in the championship. Everyone's had to take a back seat to what Connor Daly has been able to do so far.
Yeah, and Anders has done a great job. I mean, part of being a great driver is being consistent. And as far as consistent, finishes and running at the front in the top 3, Anders has been there all the time. But getting that win, man, it's so difficult.
Connor DeFilippi in the 11 car, running in 5th spot. Very strong outing for this young American driver. Let's get more from pit road. Here's Todd Lewis.
Fellas, up and down pit lane, all the teams say the key to success is having those tires grip this racetrack through the entire 45-minute event. These Goodyears are good and sticky. There's nothing wrong with these tires, but they do drop off significantly because of the abrasiveness of this track. One of the ways to keep the tires sticking is to run extra wing in the front. In fact, the Juncos team on all of their cars is running an extra wicker on the front wing. We've noticed it earlier today on the Anderson cars. They are not running that front wicker. The Juncos car of Connor Daly out front. The Anderson cars have dropped back a couple of positions.
And that's one of those aero tweaks that you can apply to these cars or take off these cars as we watch the battle for 14th. Meyer and Goekeberg making his Star Mazda debut here today. As Zach Meyer in the red and white 44, Goekeberg in the 78. And Johnny, I think that's really interesting. Do you use wickers on the nose and on the rear wing? It's going to add drag, slow you down a little bit.
It does, but here's the interesting thing, and it's one of the challenges for engineers. We heard about it earlier in the program, but you know what? You run a ton of downforce in a car. Your driver's entering these fast corners with total confidence. So, they're going through the corners maybe 2-3 mile an hour more than the guy with less downforce. So, it all adds up. But the big thing, what they just mentioned as it relates to tire wear, you're not running downforce. You're going to be sliding that tire more, and its performance is going to go off.
Working lap number 18, about halfway home on our 45-minute timed event here. Meyer in the 44 and Goekeberg battling there. We check back in on the battle involving the 38 car of Vautier and the 11 of Connor DeFilippi. This is for 3rd and 4th.
More good battles, and getting down to, how these guys think. If you are running 2nd or 3rd and you're looking at Connor Daly's car and he's got the wickers on him, the gurney flaps on it, you're wondering, man, why is that cat running those and we aren't? And that's one of those things that can really get into young guys' heads. You got to, be aware of what your competitors are doing, but don't let it psych you out. But I promise you, if Connor is running, more downforce than these guys, the next thing that they would do if there was a second race is try and see how it works on their cars.
Got a special website for you to check out. It's www.mazdaracing.tv. Chock full of information on our television schedule for the Star Mazda Championship, also the Playboy Mazda MX-5 Cup. Down into turn number 1 here at Mosport International Raceway. Tristan Vautier in the 38 car. Trying to get back into contention here. Rusty Mitchell continuing to make progress toward the front of the field, moving by the 28 machine. Picking up another position. Juan Pedro Hita getting dropped another spot further back in the running order. I'm impressed with what Mitchell's been able to do here so far. We'll see if he can get closer to the front. But everybody chasing Connor Daly. It's the Star Mazda Championship for the Visit Florida Cup.
We've got perfect race day weather here today at Mosport International Raceway, but it didn't take us long wandering the paddock to find a lot of Canadians who like the perfect weather that Florida has to offer year-round.
I spent 13 years living in the West Palm Beach area. Sure enjoyed going over to Singer Island and the beach and so on. And
my girlfriend and I drove down with our kids. I was a single mom. We went down to Disney World. We never had such a good time. The kids were 10 and 12. Time of their life.
There's really fun roller coasters, and like there's this green one, and it's called the Hulk, and it's like you do a whole lot of corkscrews, and it's pretty fun.
Last time I was in Florida was 1986. I ran in the Sports Car Club of America Trans Am Series race, one in Miami and one in St. Petersburg. One of the best times of my life.
When I was single, I went and I had a great time. I stayed at St. Pete's Beach at the Breckenridge, and the trade winds are together there. I went parasailing. I had a ball, parasailing, swinging my legs around and laying on the beach and going on jet skis, and it's a wonderful place to visit, really.
I mean, Sunshine State, what can you say, right?
Johnny O'Connell, what can you say about the performance Connor Daly's putting on here today in the Index College Network Merchant Services 22? Qualifying on pole, he's led all the way. He's pulling away from the field here.
As a guy that really is aiming to be America's next driver in Formula One, he's doing everything he needs to do.
Meantime, the battle for 14th raging a little further back here at Mosport. Let's check in with Todd Lewis on pit road.
Watching a battle a little further back in the field as Nick Andries, the Team Anderson driver, is really giving Zach Meyer a bit of an education. Zach in his first event this weekend for AIM Auto Sports, and Coach Lee Bentham telling me earlier he's been getting quite an education. Used to driving go-karts, and these race cars drive a lot differently. You can quick correct them through a corner. You can't do that with these cars, and Zach getting a bit of an education now from the Team Anderson driver.
It is a big adjustment for these guys when they change from a car, to a car. There's a lot more motion in the car. You're very aware of the mass involved, which is surprising because these are still very light, nimble race cars. But the quickness that's required in your hands is definitely different.
Up the long backstretch here. This is the race for 14th position. Mikhail Goikenberg, a guy, Johnny, you and I got to see earlier at New Jersey, also at Autobahn this summer in an F2000 car, making the transition to a much stronger, heavier, faster car. He's done a nice job here.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job. It's very hard to come in, towards the end of the season in any series and show yourself well, but, he's doing a great job. It's certainly a way different car than what he's used to driving.
Three-car battle going up onto the front straightaway. Your VisitFlorida.com running order. Top of your screen. Keep track of where your favorite driver is. Got to give a call to Rusty Mitchell in the Motorola 66. That tire change, he had to start at the back. He's raced his way into the top 10 here as we get into the later stages of the Star Mazda Championship run at Mosport International Raceway. Good battling all around the racetrack here. Very impressive, this fight for 14th between Goikenberg, Meyer, and Nick Andres. All right, let's take a timeout. We'll come right back with more of the Star Mazda Championship for the Visit Florida Cup at Mosport. Welcome back to Mosport International Raceway. Connor Daly now approaching lap traffic in that 22. Johnny trying to ice the championship. What would be his 7th win of the season? All of a sudden, he's got some traffic to contend with.
Yeah, but these guys are, minding their flags, making his job pretty easy working through the field here. And to run as strong as he has, he's obviously got a great car. And like was mentioned before, they're running a lot of downforce in this car, so when he gets to traffic, shouldn't be that difficult for him to deal with. Goncalves, we don't know whether he's running high downforce, and so we'll see how quickly he moves through.
Daly getting around Jerry Kraut's machine, Carlos Condi as well. Goncalves is going to have to wait a while and try to do it on the backstretch. Goncalves not far behind Daly. This gives Connor Daly a chance to reestablish a strong lead.
Yeah, when you're leading a race and you come up to traffic, you are so hopeful that these guys see you coming and let you by. And at the same time, you're hoping they really hold up your competitors, and that looks like it's happening a little bit right here.
Goncalves getting by the 55 car of Jerry Kraut. You saw the corner worker there a moment ago with the blue flag. That's the passing flag. When they put that out, you've got a faster car nearby, and that lets you make the appropriate move there, not block the racetrack.
Yeah, and you can see right there, it's really difficult for Goncalves to work through the field. get those positions, and as such, he feels he's losing out to Connor. Meanwhile, he's got guys coming up from behind him, so it's always a very high-pressure situation.
Working lap 28 here at Mosport International Raceway. Picture-perfect weekend for racing, part of the Grand Prix of Mosport weekend. Jerry Crowd in the 31, giving room to Goncalves in the 9 car. He'll sneak by the 11 right there as well as Connor DeFilippi. He's raced his way quietly into third. DeFilippi doing a heck of a job here today.
Yeah, and that traffic totally worked to his favor. Now, if he can make the run down the hill in there 4 and 5, you know, he might be able to get close enough to get a draft going up the long straightaway. And, oh, man, he's done it. He's done his homework if he can make it stick.
On board here with Connor DeFilippi in the 11 car, part of the Mazda Speed ladder system. Young driver, a lot is expected of in the years to come. Really giving us a great show here today.
Yeah, look at this DeFilippi getting in the slipstream, moving to the outside. Ah, man, it's a 160-mile-an-hour game of chicken going into turn 8.
Now, can you make that move? Obviously, you can make that move on the outside. You don't necessarily have to be to the inside of the corner, the little right-hand jog there.
Yeah, oh, yeah, you know, you can make it, but again, that whole situation happened as a result of lap traffic. So, you know, I'm sure right now that, you know, Goncalves is a little bit frustrated. But Felipe, you know, he did a super job working the traffic a little bit better and then taking advantage of the draft.
So Connor DeFilippi takes the 11 car, the JDC entry, up to second spot. Working his way by Jorge Goncalves late in the going here. Now for Goncalves, what's the job at hand, Johnny, to try to focus, get back close again, and make that pass, kind of take that spot away?
Exactly. He's just got to make sure that he's good in the 5A, B, C area, and that way he'll get the run and return the favor.
Tatiana Calderon here in the 25, and Nick Andres, meantime, they've got a good battle for position going. Again, this is for 14th. Andres has kind of dropped anchor back there. Tatiana trying to get back up and get into the hunt.
I don't know what's up with Tatiana. Again, I think it's probably her first time here. She was so strong in Autobahn and really represented herself well. She changed her attitude towards the sport, training a lot harder. But again, you know, maintaining consistency, it's a critical part of being a race car driver, and one of those things I'm sure she's learning about, you know, and with each racetrack, each mile under her belt, she's going to be getting stronger.
Zach Meyer there in the mix as well in the 44 car. Nick Andres getting by. Oh, trouble. We've got a car in the tire barrier. It's the 78 of Mikhail Goykeberg. Mikhail Goykeberg, one of the JDC entries, racing out of Toronto, originally from Russia. That's a hard lick. He knocked the nose off that car.
Yeah, Mosport not forgiving. Turn 1, hard to say what happened there. I mean, he lost it pretty early. Now, you did see a car leaving the screen, so you don't know whether there was contact, and he had been involved in a pretty intense battle. So hard for us to see what happened right there. But again, remember, it was his first race in this car, and you know, a big step up. He was really showing himself well, and you hate to see things end this way. But this makes it awesome because Connor Daly now has the field come back to him.
Well, Connor Daly has led all the way, trying to nail down the Star Mazda Championship worth $750,000 in cash and prizes. Connor DeFilippi and Jorge Goncalves will try to take the win away from him when we come back. Our coverage today of the Visit Florida Cup, the Star Mazda Championship, has been brought to you by Mazda. On any given weekend, more Mazdas are road race than any other brand. And by Visit Florida, visitflorida.com. Your Florida side is calling. Discover a whole new side of you and the Sunshine State. Go to visitflorida.com and start planning your vacation today. With Todd Lewis, Johnny O'Connell, I'm Rick Benjamin. Welcome back to Mosport International Raceway. Final couple of laps of the Grand Prix of Mosport, the Star Mazda Championship, the Visit Florida Cup at stake as well. Field under caution, an incident down in turn 1. Mikhail Goykeberg dragging the brakes, going off, knocking the nose off the 78. And Johnny, it looks like this is Connor Daly's prize package, the cash, the Indy Lights test, and a full season Grand Am ride.
Yeah, how amazing is that? I mean, these guys have great aspirations for great things. Right now, Connor Daly is the guy that's won the championship, but right now he's got other things on his mind, like winning here at Mosport.
Had to finish 16th or better. There are 18 cars left on the racetrack, but only 16 on the lead lap. Coming to what we expect will be a green-white checker finish here at Mosport. So Connor Daly has all but wrapped up the title. Anders Krohn, the only driver with a chance of knocking him out of the championship at this stage of the game. But Krohn stuck back there in 5th, 6th position all day long. On the green, Daly takes him back down into turn 1.
Good restart for these guys at the front. DeFilippi, oh, he slides a little bit wide. That was huge.
Jorge Goncalves in the 9 car alongside him for second. Goncalves in the silver and black machine with the red trim gets back around DeFilippi.
You have no idea what that took for both those guys to do that in that corner going that fast. This is exactly what Connor Daly wanted. I'm sure he was totally unaware of what was going on behind him.
When you see those guys who are chasing you start battling amongst themselves, that lets you set sail.
You're loving it. I mean, he's looking forward, just trying to hit his marks. But, you know, DeFilippi there, you know, just getting into turn one, losing the back end a little bit and having to catch it. That was all that Concalves needed to squeeze on by. Like I said, Concalves really stepping up his game this weekend.
DeFilippi coming out of turn 5 a little sideways as well. Now, would the tires have cooled off in that short caution period?
Oh, yeah, you know, not just that. You know, if you haven't done a good job of scrubbing them off, you get a lot of pickup. You can see on some of these shots the amount of rubber on the side of the road. So, I mean, it's real easy. You've got to, you know, under a caution, be really shaking up your car good to keep your tires fresh. That could totally have been what happened.
One of the cars a little sideways there. I believe that's David Ostella in the 16. Daly with a white flag, 1 to go.
Well, last lap, but you saw DeFilippi there in that last corner, turn 10, running wide. So, you know, he's still struggling. He's lost his momentum.
Mikhail Grenier swinging to the inside, trying to get around Anders Krohn and pick up a spot late. A lot of jockeying position behind the top 2 or 3 here, as we're in the final trip around this 2.4-mile layout at Mosport International Raceway.
You gotta love the green-white checkered where the gloves come off and everyone thinks it's their last opportunity to gain position.
Certainly the case here today in the Star Mazda Championship with the Visit Florida Cup. Up the backstretch, coming up momentarily. A couple of corners heading to turn 5. Rusty Mitchell.
Oh, man, running in deep, locking tires. You love seeing this stuff. Oh, side by side.
Chris Miller dragging the brakes there in the Miller machine car. One car off on the rumble strips, knocking the wing loose.
Yeah, that's going to cost him.
Cash and time.
Yeah, you know, running up that long straightaway. And the real problem for him is going to be when he gets to this turn number 8. Connor Daly, dominating factor, not just here at Mosport, but all season long. You know, putting a solid stamp to a championship season.
At age 18, Derek's son, Connor Daly, about to write a page of Star Mazda history. He will win his 7th race of the season, and that is good enough to clinch the Star Mazda Championship for Connor Daly, the winner of the Mosport Grand Prix.
You know, there's really nothing better than winning a race. The only thing that I can imagine better is seeing your kid win a race. So, you know, congratulations to Derek.
Connor Daly drives the College Network In-Deck Merchant Services Limited car for Team Juncos. And a dominant performance here leads flag to flag. And Calvez comes back to score 2nd. DeFilippi, Tristan Vautier, and Anders Krohn your top 5. Grenier and Kyle Lara, Chris Miller, and Rusty Mitchell to 9th.
Yeah, great recovery for him, man. Awesome, solid drive for Rusty.
Nick Andres has to settle for 11th in front of Orto and Linares. Zach Meyer in his first start in the Star Mazda machine ends up 14th. Mikhail Goikerberg, last car in the running order after that wreck down in turn 1 here today. Fans enjoying the show here at Mosport International Raceway. Connor Daly out of his race car in victory lane with the Visit Florida Cup trophy. Downstairs to Todd.
There's the winning trophy. There's the Visit Florida hat going on. There's the smile on the face. Win number 7, biggest of the year. Connor Daly, congratulations, 2010 champion.
Thank you. That definitely sounds good, and it's good to get another one of these Visit Florida wins. They've been my toughest races of the year, and this one was no easy one. It was difficult, but the Juncos Racing team gave me another fantastic car, and that last restart was pretty nerve-wracking. It was really slick going into turn 1. I could see Connor behind me almost go off, and I almost did the same thing had I gone in a little bit harder. So it was just it was a lot of fun. It was a great day, great weekend. I'm just very happy, so happy for this team. They deserve it so much. They've worked so hard, and it's so great for them. I'm so happy for us as a team.
It's a real smile of satisfaction, and hey, at the next race in a couple of weeks, you get a chance for another championship.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to go hard at it. I want the Visit Florida Cup just as much as I want the overall championship, so I'm just really happy, and now we got a long break to think about things and get ready for Road Atlanta.
Congratulations, Connor Daly, your 2010 Star Mazda Series champion.
Connor Daly cashing in big. That $750,000 prize package is his. He may also pick up the VisitFlorida.com prize of the all-expense-paid vacation to any destination in Florida. He's got a 26-point lead now over Anders Krohn. Let's meet our runner-up.
Jorge Goncalves is your second-place finisher. You had to retake that position after the restart.
Yeah, I'm in third place, and Connor De Philippe is from me. I just tried, he make a little mistake, and I tried to pass, and the outside in turn 2 is really hard because front turn, and it's really hard pass him. And well, they said they trying to have only one lap to try to pass daily, but it's too hard. I closed the gap, but it's too hard. I'm happy because it's a great race. We finished P2. That's great because we now turn the championship, and that's great for me. Thank you.
Great race, Jorge Goncalves.
Yeah, you know, Rick, he touched on it. An outside pass in turn 2 is huge. If you don't make that off, it could be a trip to the hospital. So, you know, solid performance.
All right, check out all the series information 24/7 at StarMazda.com. TV schedules at MazdaRacing.tv. Your Florida vacation information at VisitFlorida.com. For Johnny O'Connell and Todd Lewis, I'm Rick Benjamin, congratulating our season champion and race winner, Connor Daly. Thanks for watching the Star Mazda Championship.